9, they have John Collins, fantastic player with Atlanta. He's had a crazy year last year. And I actually think that Atlanta fans are going to be fucking pissed that we have him number 9 because of how great of a year he had last year and how great of a year his career's been so far.
Yeah, and the big thing is, like you said, not only last year, but the consistency in his career, where the name John Collins almost goes forgotten a lot of times, but to Atlanta fans, like you said, it
Totally
doesn't go
mad.
forgotten. Absolutely not. John Collins is a guy who he was one of only 3 players in the league to actually average 20 and 10 at the power forward spot, and the only other two were sorry, he was one of only 3 to average a double double, and the only other two basically averaged 20 and 10. One was Sabonis, who is a great player. The other one was Giannis. So I mean, if your only company in a category of averaging a double double is 2 players like that, clearly you're one of the best in your position. It's not an easy position to really stand out, like we've mentioned, and John Collins has found a way to do it in multiple areas.
I think one point where he's actually improved on with a lot of people that are above him in this list is that he was able to improve 3-point shooting. He
Yeah,
shoots it at almost 400% now. He shoots 3.5, 4 per game. He has all the tools necessary to be an all-star. He had 1.6 blocks per game last year. He's no slouch on defense. He had all these tools there. He could become an even better player, but I think it just goes to show how much disrespect a lot of people have had for Atlanta. That it goes back to a winning team. Team success is a big part of this. Without team success, what are you going to do? You can't you can't be a star player without team success anymore unless you're going to be your Kevin Love of 2012, 2013 in Minnesota putting up 26 and 14. Unless you're putting up those kind of crazy numbers, or Anthony Davis in New Orleans again, 26 and 12 or 26 and 11 on a losing team. But even then, they were close to contention. Atlanta wasn't just not close to contention. The East has the 8th through 10th seed have never been weaker right now until last year. They've never been weaker than they were. And they still were one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league on any given day. I think that just goes to show that unless he's going to go to another level with his stats, he's not going to get the respect of being a top level player that his stats already show he is.
yeah, and I mean, if we're saying, or even myself, I'm saying that Julius Randle could put up 24 and 10. I mean, John Collins could easily put up 24 and
Easily,
10,
if not higher. He's got
especially
way better shooting than Randall.
Yeah, like you said, that's a guy who not only shoots 40% now, but he was already shooting 35%. And clearly, this is a guy that loves being in the gym. If he's shooting at a good rate and he's like, nah, I could do better. And he goes in there and he actually gets his percentage up and he takes extra attempts per game too. So, this is a guy who, again, I'm very confident that he's hardworking, that he's going to improve, that, you know what, maybe we'll see him in a top 6, top 5 role kind of throughout his career, just depending on what year it is. But it is, I understand where Atlanta fans are coming from, but yeah, like you said, it's only been 3 years. Let's slow down the hype in terms of how good the guy is going to be. Let's see him win some games. Let's see how he contributes. Like, if this team this year can't win and he does something similar, like you said, like Randall, it's almost empty stats because this team on paper should be able to at least make that playoff tournament definitely.
Yep.
Collins, just again to go how good he's been, fourth in blocks for power forward last year with 1.6, second in offensive rebounding. So a guy who's only I think 22 or 23, and one of already clearly the most athletic, strong guys at the power forward position in the league.
So I like to put him on the same plane as someone like Pascal Siakam. I know Siakam's a little bit older. It took Siakam a few more years to get to his level. But what I mean by that is they're both great scorers. They're both very quick. They're both versatile. But Collins can actually put up better boards than Siakam. He can put up occasionally better points than Siakam, or just as good of points as Siakam. He put up better blocking numbers than Siakam. But again, it doesn't matter what your stats are if you're on putting up empty stats. Get
Definitely.
on a winning team, bring your team to 50 wins per game, and then even if your stats go down to 18 and 7, we're still going to consider you a top 10 player. Hell, we might consider you even better if you were able to be that star player without having to put up the 25 points per game. Or hell, go up and put up 25 points per game, be the only 20-point plus scorer on your team, and show us that we're wrong here and that you're just playing on a bad team, but you're an amazing player. But
Yeah,
until you can show us that, you're not going to be considered an amazing player.
Yeah, and I think the next two guys in our list are very key to them. Where yes, one of the guys coming up are definitely Siakam, but even the guy who's next on our list, I think, is someone that a lot of people will argue that Collins is better. But based on the fact this other guy's on a winning team, and he's actually
Yep.
proven to be pretty good in the playoffs too, that he finds himself higher on this list than him.
Yeah, so